Hello, I'm in the mood for Timeless today, so we're going to play some Timeless today. We're going to be playing a Dimir Psychic Frog deck. It's going to be quite similar to a bit of a hybrid from the versions of the Psychic Frog decks that you might see in a format like Legacy before it was banned, as well as Modern. The idea being it's focused around Psychic Frog here. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, draw a card. You could discard a card to put a counter on it, and you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard to give it flying until end of turn. So kind of a like protect the president strategy, where your goal is to play a sort of like controlling game, remove a game early on, get a frog down, protect it, and win that way. The frog has very fun and cool synergies with things like Unearth here, which we could use to discard our Abhorrent Oculus. So we can just like unearth it back to play, and once you have an Abhorrent Oculus in play as early as like, turn 3 or something, that is extremely powerful and hard for a lot of decks to beat. Aside from that, other threats that we have are the Orcish Bowmasters, which is extremely powerful in a format like Timeless, where people are casting like Brainstorms and Cantrips and all sorts of nonsense. We have Tamiyo, Inquisitive Student, as a 2-of. This is a very fun card. I'm a huge fan of it. Introduced in Modern Horizons 3, so obviously you gotta know it's busted in that case. When it attacks, you get to investigate. It's just a 1-mana 0/3 flyer, and it flips whenever you draw your 3rd card in a turn. Usually, you're gonna want to be like in Modern casting like the wizard spell that like draws you 2 cards and like has another effect if you have a wizard, the Flame of Aenor. But here we have Brainstorm, so we can flip this as early as turn 2, even at instant speed on our opponent's turn in response to a removal spell or something. So aside from that, we're doing basic, normal, like Delvery, control-y stuff. We have 4 Thoughtseize effects and the 2 Inquisitions, the 2 Thoughtseize, 3 Fatal Pushes, 2 Spell Pierce, which is extremely powerful, the 3 Brainstorm, the 2 Stern Scalding, which is extremely good for getting rid of those like Boros energy cards, getting rid of opponent's Bowmasters, opponent's Psychic Frogs, stuff like that. Running 2 Snapcaster Mages, 2 Counter Spells, and 2 Mana Drains. Obviously, the optimal thing is to run the full 4 Mana Drains. I don't have 4 Mana Drains, so we're just running 2 and 2. Plus, we get extra copies of everything with the Snapcaster Mage anyway, and we're seeing a million cards with our Brainstorms. We get to play the 1-of Demonic Tutor, which is restricted in this format, so we can only use 1 of in our deck, but it is extremely powerful. And 2 Treasure Cruises in order to get some good card advantage in the late game when our graveyard is full of stuff. We also are allowed to play these 2 Sink into Stupors, which is one of the Bolt lands from Modern Horizons 3. You get to pay 3 life if you want to enter untapped. Other than that, it's just a spell that returns a spell or non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. This actually gets around stuff like counter magic and stuff like that. In addition to that, our mana base, we get to play all our fetch lands, which is super, super wonderful. Very good synergy with like Brainstorm and the like. We get to like play a fetch land, hold it up, fetch for an untapped source if we need it. If we don't need an untapped source, we have 2 of the Undercity Sewer Surveil lands, which is extremely powerful end of turn play. Could like fuel our unearths, put like an Oculus into the graveyard. Also, it's just like, getting a better draw, stuff like that. We're also playing 2 Mystic Sanctuaries, which enters untap if you control 3 or more other islands. This is another card that's banned in Modern. It's incredibly powerful, so we could sort of like end step, fetch a Mystic Sanctuary, and put like a counterspell back on top of our deck and just draw the counterspell for our turn. So we're gonna be playing best of 1 today. Just gonna like have a little bit of fun, jam some frogs, hopefully have a good time. So yeah, let's get into the games. Okay, opener is terrible. It's Mulligan. This one is a little bit better. Put back the probably the Treasure Cruise. We're quite a ways away from casting that, and it protects us from like if they Thoughtseize our frog, we can unearth it back. But not an ideal hand. We'll see how it goes. Just lead on this Flooded Strand with the goal of fetching a Surveil land. Keep in mind, I haven't played Arena in quite a hot minute, so we're back down in silver right now. So I guess keep that in mind as we play. So getting Undercity Sewers. This land immediately makes me feel like it's maybe like a Goblin Charbelcher deck or stuff like that. So we're gonna play it slow and hold up our counter magic. Do I want to fetch land for another Surveil potentially? I think I do because I'm a little bit low on action right now. Typically with Belcher... Oh, it's not Belcher, it's just an energy deck. Okay. It's a weird energy deck. Not the typical energy colors that you see in a format like this. Let's get another Undercity Sewers. It's a lot of the time not strongly advised to fetch out your Surveillance so early, but we're, like I said, a little bit low on resources here, or a little bit low on action, not resources, so we want to do that. So what I'm actually going to do, that actually worked out really well, because I can unearth this frog and then hold up counter magic. So we're going to do that. The question is, if they counter me right now, do I want to counter back? And I think the answer is no, and the reason is because I'm happy to trade 1-for-1 here, while keeping my graveyard pretty stocked, and then next turn we have another Psychic Frog plus counter magic, and that one I'll probably fight over more. Tune the narrative, sure. Ampharaptor, that one we're gonna counterspell. And that works out well for us, because now we get to play Psychic Frog and hold up our Mana Drain, which we will probably use to aggressively protect our Frog, and we could actually even hard cast this next turn. What does that do? If you get one or more energy, you get that many +1, draw a card, activate only if you paid or lost 4 or more energy this turn. That strikes me as an engine piece. I'm just gonna counter this. I don't want to get got by Izzet Genitorium here. If they counter back, that's fine. They're just gonna kill the frog. You get 3. This is the worst. Whatchamacallit? So you're gonna get 3. Yeah, they just kill the frog. It is what it is. We thankfully did draw the raptor. So sorry, the Oculus. So we just get to cast Oculus this turn. So we're going to cast Oculus. Do we want to leave a frog in the graveyard for a potential unearth, or do we want to leave a counterspell in the graveyard for a potential... Oh, we could leave both, actually. Yeah, okay. So we get to leave Frog and Mana Drain in the graveyard for a potential Snapcaster Mage later on. I think I protect my... Ooh... yeah, we'll put the Bowmasters in play. And then if they try to draw a card, we can actually flip that, which is pretty fun. Any of their... no. Like I said, we're a little bit low in the ladder here, so we might encounter some nonsense. So, is what it is. Okay, opponent goes first. This hand is mediocre. So we're basically just casting Thoughtseize on 1 and doing like nothing on turn 2. I don't like it. I'm mulliganing. This we can keep. I think it's significantly better. The question is, what do we put back? I'm leaning towards Bowmasters here. Obviously, it depends on what their deck is. But I think while Bowmasters is really good, I like our sort of interaction suite here, as well as like our best threat in the Psychic Frog. So they have a Marsh Flats. We're going to fetch for an untapped black source, probably just a Watery Grave, and see what they have got cooking. Marsh Flats could be any number of things, really. Could be energy. It is energy. Okay, so I think I just take their only creature here, right? They get to resolve Bombardment and then have a bunch of interaction for a frog, so I guess we just play it slow in that case. If we let them cast Ajani, we untap Fatal Push on our turn, but then they still have another creature left over. So I think I just take the Ajani and They're unfortunately able to resolve the bombardment, but it is what it is. Ajani, very annoying and hard to deal with in general, so I'm fine to just Thoughtseize that. And then if they play bombardment here, we're just on like the control game plan, because they've got all sorts of interaction for any threat that I play, so if they wait and don't play it here, then we have counterspell for it later. But I think it would be wise to play your spell when you can while I'm tapped out. Or maybe they top deck something better, who knows. Yep. That is, I believe, the correct thing to do. So we'll just play Delta here. We have counterspell if we need it. If we don't need it, we can fetch for a Surveil Land easily enough. Looks like they have nothing they want to play, so we're just getting our Surveil Land. We're in a bit of an awkward spot. I feel like time is kind of on their side, almost. I'm gonna bin this. Because they haven't played a threat. I already have a Fatal Push for the first threat. I haven't seen any evidence that they're Mardu, that they're playing black. They have the Marsh Flats, but it's just correct to do that to like bait that you could potentially be paying black for like a Bowmaster and stuff like that. We haven't drawn any of our card selection or stuff like that. I'd ideally like to bait out their interaction with other things. Fairy Charm also obnoxiously gets rid of my graveyard, which is good for, you know, Snapcaster Mages, Treasure Cruises, Oculuses, stuff like that. But but against like, it's good in response to Snapcaster Mage, but for Oculus, they kind of have to do it like proactively, which is not ideal. Here's Oculus. Damn. If I go Frog here... they can Galvanic Discharge for 3. I'd have to discard 2 things to keep it alive. And then they just see the Oculus... yeah. I'm thinking, like, can I go Psychic Frog, force them to use 2 removal spells on it, then untap an Oculus? The answer is technically yes. Is that worth it? The Thraber Trap is actually making this pretty awkward. If I go Psychic Frog right now, they go Galvanic Discharge on their end step for 3. I go Counterspell. They untap, go Static Prison, and then can play something else, and untap that. I think I'm just gonna still chill for now. We're 2 graveyard cards away from hard casting this Oculus, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. If it was the other way around, where I can guarantee counter the Static Prison, and then I kill it with Discharge, then I can just cast the Oculus to follow up. But because it's the other way around, Arena of Glory. Because it's the other way around, I don't think that's a good play. Seasoned Pyromancer. We are going to counter that. That is card advantage, and also bombardment fodder. 2 Psychic Frogs. I like that. So we can play the 1 Psychic Frog. And then counterspell the first removal spell, it eats the second removal spell, and then we get to Oculus in our turn. And then Oculus is very hard for them to deal with without Static Prison. It makes 2/2s every turn. It's very hard to kill with bombardment and stuff like that. You can kill with Raven Charm, but they need sufficient creatures. And one of our goals is to prevent them from having sufficient creatures. Since we are playing Timeless, a very high-powered format, we're on 3 and 4 lands. We're stuck on 3 and 4 lands, but that's like pretty typical and not that big of a deal. I'd obviously like to have a few more so I could do a few more things at once. Yeah, so we counterspell this. There are ways they get punished here, but based off of how they've played, I think they just need to get the frog off the field. And I am trying to force them to double removal spell it. Because once Oculus gets into play, it's like... Yup, that's fine. It starts as like a 2-for-1. They can't Thraben Charm anymore as well, which is pretty good. Treasure Cruise. I think we're still in Oculus mode. I technically get punished if they have another Galvanic Discharge. In which case I am sad. It looks like they do not, in fact, have another Galvanic Discharge. And now Thraben Charm is less helpful in the graveyard department, but we could slowly work back towards this Treasure Cruise. Sure. Now, even if they start to assemble a board presence, I could hopefully interact with it. Because we still have the Fatal Push, and we have some decently sized creatures of our own. So our goal here is to just put up the pressure, force them to interact with me. That's really good, obviously. Play just busted. Everyone knows the rules. Yep, and then they get to sack it and deal additional damage to me. Nope, they didn't click. That's okay. Here's Undercity Sewers. I don't think I want another land. I also just want to fill my graveyard with stuff. Do I want a Psychic Frog here? Is there any reason not to Psychic Frog here? If they have another removal spell, but it's better than to use it on that than on the Oculus. Even if Frog dies, it fills up our graveyard, so we could cruise soon. If they end up finding their 4th land and flashing Flage back and killing Frog, it can then kill Flage with push and then cruise. So all these things considered, I am going to cast the Psychic Frog. Obviously, I'd love if Psychic Frog lived, but Oculus is putting up a whole bunch of pressure, so... Leaving that in there for Snapcaster Mage purposes. Granted, again, they have Thraben Charm, so we have to keep that in mind. But also, if they use Thraben Charm proactively to like get rid of my graveyard, then they're not using it to like answer my threats or establish threats of their own. So I'm totally okay with that because my board state is very winning right now. They unfortunately drew the Elegant Parlor as a tap land, so they cannot flash back their Flage this turn. There's still a bunch of cards I could have that would be really good here. They need to find energy, because the Static person is going to die next turn if they don't. But there are a million ways to do that. Okay, so they are proactively Thraben Charming. I am totally okay with that. Okay, so we're just going to swing. Don't need to pump the Frog at all. Even though we're still a ways away from Treasure Cruise, I'm still happy with it. And we have lethal next turn anyway, regardless if we pump it or not. Okay. Illusion of Choice. We could actually snap that Sink into Super, funnily enough, if it'll give us the win. Like, if they put Flage on the stack here, I think that's just what we do. That is all their mana. So it seems like that's what they're doing. We just like Snapcaster Mage, Sink into Stupor, and that should be GG's. So that was actually a pretty decent hit. Like any counterspell there would have been really good. And we will Sink into Stupor the Flage. And that should be GG's. Good game. Nice, taking out energy. Ooh, turn 1 Tameo with Thoughtseize on our Snapcaster Mage. Hand is actually pretty decent, I think. Opponent goes first. We're going to keep 7. depending on what they do. We get Thoughtseize. If we Tameo turn 1 and then remove it, we can then unearth it, which is pretty good. What are they working with? Once Upon a Time, huh? This should maybe give us a good inclination. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, so it's like a Reanimator deck, perhaps? Okay. Well, might be a short one. Let's see what they're, do they have like a absolutely nutso opener, perhaps? Like turn 1 like Mecha or something, turn 1 Beseech? Are we dead on turn 1? I doubt we're dead. When this creature enters, target player reveals their cards on the top until they reveal a land card, then puts those cards into their graveyard. Ooh! Oh my god! Jesus! Okay. That is a turn 1 kill! Woo, boy! Alright. Shaking that last one off. Yeah. I like this on the play a lot more than on the draw. So we get to Inquisition turn 1, see what they're up to, and have the option to Inquisition or hold up Counterspell turn 2. So we can give that a shot. Probably fetch Shocking for Watery Grave here turn 1. So let's see what's up. They mulliganed, which is obviously ideal if we are Inquisitioning. Inquisition of their own, Ragavan, Spell Pierce. Okay. So I'm probably taking Ragavan here. I take Ragavan, they Inquisition, probably my Inquisition. Or my Counterspell. Yeah, I take Ragavan, because we don't have removal for it right now, unfortunately. It's a bit unfortunate. They're on a similar style to deck that we are. They appear to be more of like a, Izzet Delver maybe? Or, sorry, a Grixis version. If they don't Inquisition my Inquisition, I don't know. If they don't Inquisition my Inquisition, I guess I just got to take one of their Spell Pierces, which isn't even that big a deal for them, so they might just like take my Counterspell or something. We're playing towards, I guess, surveilling into something good here. It looks like it's going to be a relatively low research game. Yeah, they take my Counterspell here. Another Unearth is not what we wanted to see, but we're going to Inquisition them again. They drew an Expressive Iteration, so we're definitely going to take that. And just trying to fight through these Spell Pierces, I guess. That's a way for them to, like, recoup their low resources. We're unfortunately drew some Unearths here. They do have Cycling, too, so we might have to cycle these Unearths, which I very rarely do. You cannot Spell Pierce a Tameo, so how about we cast Tameo? Pretty good draw.
Is there a deeper meaning to this passage?
Ooh, Delver. So classic Delver. So Tameo goes attacking. They have access to their Spell Pierces still. I think we're just chilling for now. We no longer need to cycle these Unearths because we have the clues. Ooh, they found a third Spell Pierce and turn 1 flip their Delver, which is not what you like to see. So we're gonna have to find something for that relatively soon. Stern Scolding, also not what we wanted to see. Psychic Frog, that also does not get Spell Pierce, so we're gonna cast it. Doesn't get Spell Pierce and also can block that Insectile Aberration. Mishra's Bauble. And I'm pretty sure this is not a creature counterspell or a removal spell, otherwise they would have used it already. And we are probably going to use a few cards to block this Delver if they attack with it, which they don't, which is completely reasonable. Another Psychic Frog. Okay. Let's do some stuff. So let's discard a Psychic Frog. Let's discard an Unearth. Let's jump our Psychic Frog by exiling 1, 2, 3. And let's attack with our Psychic Frog. See what they do. And this is where we see, unfortunately for them, the power creep of Psychic Frog versus the classic Delver here. DRC. Here is a Stern Scolding. We'll make them use 2 Spell Pierces here. Yep. Now are they going to attack? They are going to attack. Make it more difficult for my frog. They're not going to make it more difficult for my frog to get in. I think we are just going to Demonic Tutor for a removal spell here. Just get a Fatal Push. Pretty sure that's what I want. I could also... Actually, it might be better to Demonic Tutor for Oculus here. So it's either Fatal Push one of their creatures, or I think I just get Oculus. It's gotta be... Yeah, it's just Oculus. Because I have Unearth in my hand. Okay. So Oculus. Discard the Oculus with the frog. Unearth the Oculus while they are tapped out. Here is an Abhorrent Oculus. Play a Flooded Strand. And I think we're just gonna chill for this turn. Oh my god, that is so good. That is so good. Wow. So they have Unknown Card and Spell Pierce here. They dash the Ragavan. No, they don't dash the Ragavan, they just hardcast the Ragavan. They say good game. I think it's not looking great for them. Yeah. Because they're forced to attack their Dragonzord Channeler into my Oculus, and then I have Psychic Frog Oculus, plus another Oculus waiting in the wings. Yeah, that's brutal for them, unfortunately. Alright, let's see if we can get another good one in here. Hand's a little bit awkward because we have 2 lander. One of them is the natural draw of the Undercity Sewers. We're on the play, so we could Thought Seize turn 1, but then we don't have much going on turn 2. I think I'm going to keep. It's a bit of a risky keep. We have the option to hold the Thought Seize until turn 2. But I think we just run with the upside of if we draw an untapped land, we could like hold up something or play Frog turn 2. And we also get better information for our Surveils if we Thought Seize now. So they are on Violent Outburst. Neat. I don't know what the hell. I think I just take the experiment one, right? I just take the card that they can play before my counterspell's available. I don't actually know what they... Oh, they're just cascading into crash. Well, they're cascading into Crashing Footfalls, but they have Experiment one here, so they can cascade into that too. Whatever. Snappy is not a land, unfortunately. So we're gonna, if we can get like a decently sized Frog into play or an Oculus into play, that is gonna be a good way to get through these Rhinos that are coming. Dash a Ragavan! That's not what we wanted to see. They get my Brainstorm. That's really good for them. Well, it's okay for them. I kind of do like that they're casting it just because it's another card in my graveyard. We're probably holding up Bowmasters this coming turn. Bowmasters or Counterspell. That's actually a really good draw. So now, if they dash Ragavan again, we play Bowmasters. If they play a Cascade spell, we counterspell the Crashing Footfalls. That is where we're at. Forgot they even put Violent Outburst on Arena. That's crazy. Oh, they're trying to... Okay, they're just hard casting Ragavan. And what else? Let's try to Bowmaster it. If they protect it with like an Atargus command or something, that's fine. I still have blockers. I'm totally happy for them to use that now to protect their monkey. They're not drawing a lot of cards, so the Bowmasters in this matchup aren't very good. Yep. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield because you go to... Yep, that's fine. That is totally fine by me. And we'll fetch for Surveillance here. Totally fine by me. I'm totally content to just trade my Bowmasters and the army for the Ragavan. I'm gonna bin the Tamiyo, I think. Love Spell Pierce here, actually. I'm gonna hold up stuff again. That thing's coming off the suspend next turn. Probably want to hold up the counterspell for that. I think I want to cast another Bowmasters this turn. Here's a Violent Outburst. I will let the Cascade resolve. They Cascade into a Tarmogoyf. Ooh, okay. So you have to be counterspelled. Unfortunately. The Outburst itself is fine. And they don't attack. So now let's go... So they get a Crashing Footfalls next turn. I think I just want to start putting larger creatures into play. So the Crashing Footfalls, Violent Outburst again next turn, but they could pay through my Spell Pierce. I think I just want to start putting large creatures into play and hope to win 2, 3, 4. So let's keep the counter spell. I think we could probably win on board here if we play it decently enough. We could fight through enough rhinos. We are a little bit low on life, so that is a concern, especially the Violent Outburst does have text. Yeah, okay. Put the spell in the graveyard for Snapcaster Mage purposes. Here's the Crashing Footfalls. And these don't have haste, even though they are creatures that resulted off of a suspend card, because it was a spell that was cast off suspend, not the creature. Another Violent Outburst, Cascade into an Experiment one. Very interesting Cascade deck here. Yep, their stuff is large. Rhinos can't attack though, and they're not attacking with the Ragavan into what I got, so. And... But why did you do this? Who knows? Okay. I want to cast a Brainstorm here. Let's try and find a fetch land. Nope. That sucks. Oh, these things are actually getting Oculus, so that's fine. The Oculus can clear those that I don't really want. And we're just gonna chill for now. And we're just gonna start making a big board presence and trying to get in with the Psychic Frog. Looks like they didn't find anything too good. Yep, just another land. If they found another Violent Outburst, they probably would have attacked with the Rhinos because they could trade with the Frog, or with the Oculus. Alright, pass to me. Fatal Push is pretty good here, so we have a few things in our graveyard. Let's jump the Frog. This thing has Evolve, right? Yeah. 2, 3. I'm gonna grow it a little bit. Let's... The Spell Pierce is pretty useless now. Don't want to discard anything else. I'll discard this other Frog, because I think I'd rather cast this Oculus. We could also, if we draw on an Earth, Treasure Cruise is not bad. We get to draw this Bowmaster. We have another Bowmaster, so we can Bowmaster probably the Experiment one when another creature comes into play and triggers Evolve. We could also Fatal Push probably a Rhino. Fury. So let's... Okay, Fury comes into play. What is its targets? Probably a random face down card. That is the Inquisition. So let's go another Bowmaster. Kill the Experiment one. Now Fury can resolve and our army stays alive because we drew it. Then we can Fatal Push something if we want to. I don't think that's necessary. I think we just wait till like they try to attack with something and then we could Fatal Push if they like use a trick in some way. Okay. Let's jump this frog. 1, 2, 3. And attack with this frog. And I'm just gonna discard this. So this hits. I don't really care that much about a Tarmogoyf. I'm gonna just discard this range building. And they're dead next turn now anyway. To our flyers. Take the creature. We are only on 3 lands, but we don't need much more when we have the Psychic Frog. So we just gotta, like, you know, hold the line this turn, and then win with our flyers next turn. And it looks like we've done it. Yep. So we're going to block here, block here, block here, and block. And discard Oculus and attack. Good games. Frickin' love Psychic Frog. What a good frog boy he is.